would you care to step outside?
Superman.
Superman, thank God. I mean, get him! Come to me, son of Jor-El! Kneel before Zod!
And we are live. Welcome to the House of Fandom. I'm your host, Clark, on the check-in, and we've got a special show tonight. I'm joined by my partner in crime, the one, the only, the biggest Superman fan this side of the Mississippi. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a tank. He's built like a tank. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tank. What's up, brother? What's going on? Special show tonight.
I know. Yeah, I'm happy to get into it. How you been?
Good, man. Good. How are you doing, man? How's your day going? How are things going out there?
It's going good. Got some good news this week. I work 9 to 6 now.
All right.
So
okay.
That's why we're able to start back at 8 o'clock for the people.
I like it. And I just want to give a shout out to the room. I see you, Mac J. I see you, Mora. Mora, the resident queen of the the chat room, and of course we've got my brothers Dave, John is in the house. Mac J, what's up? And real quick, just want to give a shout out to John. My buddy John, went through a health crisis recently, man. This tells us all that we've got to take care of ourselves, especially like when we get to a certain age. Even if you're in your 30s, man, make sure you get your heart checked. Make sure you get you're keeping your tabs on your health, brother. I don't know about you, but I'm always trying to make sure that I'm checking myself out. But I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. I mean, you been to the doctor lately, brother?
I'm gonna lie, 'cause my mom will be watching and say yes.
I just want to make sure.
I need you. I haven't been in a while, but I definitely need. But I'm glad your friend is. I assume he's good now.
Oh
so
yeah,
I'm glad
he's in the chat room right now. And like I said, but it was definitely a little scary for him. So I know that he's definitely very, very fortunate and grateful. And we're just again, shout out to you and speedy recovery. All right, so let's get down to it. We've got a lot to talk about today, but I want to start off by saying it's going to be a super show. As you can see, we are talking about Superman 2, the 40th anniversary. It came out 40 years ago on June 19th, 1981 in the United States. So let me tell you, that is something. 40 years. Is a long time. Were you alive 40 years ago?
3 years short of 40, so no, I wasn't alive yet.
I hear you, man. Well, let me just say that it's a long time, but it's a very good time to talk about Superman because there's been a lot of news, and I know you being the resident fandom news guy, there's been a lot of news happening as it pertains to Superman. So let's just kick things off with fandom news first before we get to the main event. Let's talk about some of the news that came out of DC, especially about Superman. I want your thoughts there. So kick us off, man, with fandom news.
All right, first item in the fandom news is sorry people, no trailers, no trailers this week. Gotta keep it keep the show rolling so we won't get hit by YouTube.
Yeah.
The first fandom news is I actually got more Flashpoint leaks. It's actually photos of Batman. Got some stunt photos of Batman.
Yeah, so let's talk about that because I think we all know this has got to be the summer of Bennifer because we all know that Ben Affleck is not on the set of Flash right now. We know that he's on a yacht with J-Lo. Is that accurate?
I mean, as far as I was able to, I was seeing, yeah, he's definitely not wherever they're filming Flashpoint. He is definitely not there. He's with he got back with his ex.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, so we know that it's obviously a stunt double, right? Because we can see that the action set pieces that are all over the internet. I'm sorry, everybody, we don't have the files to show to you, but you can pretty much type it in, and it's all over the internet. It's Ben Affleck's Batman, not Ben Affleck, but his stuntman on a bat cycle in the streets. They're filming a scene for the movie that's coming out with Flash, the Flash movie that will actually bring not one Batman, Ben Affleck, but bring back Michael Keaton as Batman as he returns to the role that he has originated in 1989. So, like, talk about, like, you know, bringing back the old school Batman as far as, like, you know, to meet in the multiverse, which this Flashpoint or Flash movie is really setting itself on. So I'm pretty excited about that. But tell us a little bit more, though, about the big Superman news. We've been hearing a lot of Superman news out of the media. Tank. So, what is the biggest news to come out this week as it pertains to the big Superman, guy?
Well, I don't know if everybody remembers. You know, it was like whenever they started, you know, talking about, you know, they were going to do a movie based on a Black Superman. There were a lot of rumors and hints and people wanting Michael B. Jordan to play the role. He always denied it, you know, kept denying it, saying, you know, he's flattered, but he's not going to do it. It looks like he was slightly not fully truthful. While there has been no word that he is actually starring in the role, he is developing the Val Zod Superman project for HBO Max. Don't know if it's a movie or a show. I think I would probably prefer to be a show because, you know, you get more time to develop and everything. But yes, it's very, very exciting. I'm really excited to see what comes of this. Like I said, Val Zod is, you know, is a very interesting character that, you know, should be come through good on live screen.
Let me ask you this: is he related to General Zod? Is that his old man? I mean, what's the deal there?
I think so. Yeah, I think in that because he's from Earth 2, a different Earth, and I think that he was. I don't think he was like the son of Zod. I think he was like some like relative of Zod on that Earth.
Gotcha. So this is taken straight from the comics, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you that are out there wondering, is this Kal-El? This is not Kal-El. This is not the Superman that we know and we grew up on, as far as in the movies and on TV and through the comics and the originating story of Superman from Krypton, Kal-El from Krypton. So this is a totally different character, but is this character based out of Krypton?
Yeah. He's a full Kryptonian. In the story, it's like I said, it's different Earth where pretty much Darkseid wins, and he's thought to have people thought that he started controlling Superman. Turns out he killed Superman and created a clone of him. Val Zod, kind of the same thing where he was on a he was sent to Earth just like Kal-El, but his ship got lost and he was like it's kind of like similar to how Supergirl was, where she came here. I don't think he came at the same time, but it's kind of similar how she came and she got here when she was. Pretty much, she came at the same time as Superman, but her ship was like stuck in like ice or something. And she wasn't found until much later. I think it was something similar with him, where his ship landed and he was like deep underground. And then in this story, he was found out when everything went to hell. Pretty much.
Yeah, to put it mildly, right?
yeah, pretty much put it mildly. And then he slowly started getting his powers and became I don't think he ever actually went by Superman, but it's his suit. He had the emblem of Superman on it.
Right, which perfect example. I mean, we're talking about Superman 2 tonight. That's our main event, looking back at the classic sequel to the beloved Superman the movie. Now, let me ask you, anyone knows that, as we can tell from this movie, from Superman 2, that you show up from Krypton to Earth, the Earth's sun is basically gonna make you indestructible, right? So let's just
Yeah.
put it, and listen, I'm not doing any like we're not. I want to do this in layman's terms because I know if we start to geek out and start to talk to you in Superman terms and Kryptonian terms, y'all gonna just tune out. I get it. So we're gonna just keep it very simple that anybody from the planet Krypton, when they show up on Earth, they're going to be they're going to have the same powers, each one of them, to quote Superman 2, as Superman has. So the bottom line is that, there's a lot that can be done with the different characters from Krypton. And I for one, am excited about it. I think it's cool, and I think it'll be something different. And I'm glad that Michael B. Jordan is developing it. He's really coming to his own as an actor and a soon-to-be director of the threequel of the Rocky
Creed.
Balboa, shall we say, spinoff, focusing on Apollo Creed's son, Adonis, right?
Yeah. I think he is developing now. Now, I love both the first two. So yeah, I think that one's gonna be a good one. So yeah, Michael Jordan, he's slowly becoming one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited for this. See
Yeah.
what he does with this.
So am I. So yeah, so really exciting news there. We did hear some other recent news. What was the other news that just came out with regards to an actor from the Zack Snyder verse of Justice League that's going to be in a new movie, Batgirl, right?
Yeah, Batgirl. Actually, J.K. Simmons. He is in talks. Yeah, he is in talks to reprise his role as Commissioner Gordon in the Batgirl HBO Max movie.
Nice. Now, J.K. Simmons, for those of you that don't know, he originated his role from the gritty HBO prison show called, what was the name of it? I know you know the name, Tank.
Wire?
No, not the Wire, not the Wire. Oh man, I'm having a brain freeze here. Salute to Cliff Bravo. I see you out there. Someone help me out. Oz. The TV show was Oz, and he played a white supremacist, crazy maniac in prison. But he's got two roles now in different in DC and Marvel, right? Because he's playing the Bugle editor, right?
Well, yeah, he played J. Jonah Jameson in the original Spider-Man trilogy, and also in Spider-Man Far From Home,
right,
at the end. So yeah, and then now he's also played J.K. Simmons, and he's also Omni-Man. Voices Omni-Man in Invincible.
So he's really just doing a bunch of different things. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. So he's gonna be in Batgirl. So I see where they want to continue the continuity, and so it'll be very interesting to see how that show comes out. That show's coming out on that is coming out on HBO Max, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. And then Moira says he's also Juno's dad. That's true. Yep, good trivia there. So yeah, so it's going to be exciting. Batman, I'm curious what your opinion is on this new Batgirl that was just cast. She was actually most recently in the movie The Heights, the musical. And she played the lead, so she's going to portray Batgirl. I don't remember her name because I'm terrible with names. Do you?
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's Leslie Grace.
All right, so that'll be pretty cool. What's up, John? John H. is in the house all the way from the West Coast. So appreciate you joining us. For those of you that are just joining us, I'm your host, Clark, on the check-in, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Tank himself. And tonight, it's all about Superman, Christopher Reeve, Superman 2, the blockbuster sequel to the to what is considered the godfather of all of the future superhero movies that came after, that really took the blueprint of the original Superman the movie, rest in peace Richard Donner, and created movies that took superheroes seriously. So we owe a debt of gratitude to the filmmakers of Superman the movie and Richard Donner, Christopher Reeve, and the entire cast. So it's really awesome. But today, it's all going to be about Superman 2, We know that there's two versions of Superman 2. We're going to talk a little bit about it, but that's going to be something that we're going to have to deep dive into another time, Tank, because I think we're going to end up confusing everybody that don't realize that there's actually two versions of Superman 2. There's actually two versions that were actually released. So that's an interesting tidbit that we'll discuss more. But any other fandom news that you want to talk about before we start getting into the main event of this evening?
No, that was it for fandom news.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And also, can I just say, it goes without saying, we almost forgot. I mean, of course, our co-hosts have taken, both our co-hosts are off for the evening. Our co-host Spike and of course Danny, they are both in they're doing research on a new development show that we're working on. So they'll be back next week on the House of Fandom. So a lot of exciting stuff there. Hulk Smash, I see you, brother. What's up? It looks like we got a lot of DC people in the house, a lot of Marvel fans as well. So listen, before we get started, Tank, I know you just recently saw Superman 2. I see it quite often because you know I have a lot of love for the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. To kick things off, let's go ahead and play the teaser trailer that was actually, it's a rare trailer because what happened was Superman 2 was actually released in the winter of 1980 all over the country except for the United States. It was delayed by 6 months and then it came out in the summer, June 19th, 1981, 40 years ago. And I want to show this trailer, and I think it'll give you all the nostalgia feels. So without further ado, let me go ahead and play the teaser trailer to Superman 2. It was played in 1980 before it was released in the summer of 1981.
Superman 2, the adventure continues. There is something evil in the skies headed for Metropolis. 3 outlaws from the planet Krypton with the same powers as Superman.
Even with all this accumulated knowledge, when will these dummies learn to use a doorknob?
Superman, where are you?
Now, the adventure continues at the Eiffel Tower and on the moon. And the romance continues. This is the spectacular challenge.
Superman!
General, would you care to step outside?
To a climactic super battle in the skies over Metropolis. If you've only seen the first part, you haven't seen the best part. Superman 2, the adventure continues this June.
And we are back. And let me tell you something. I don't know about you, but they don't make trailers like they used to. Like, trailers were like events. Like, I mean, now it's like they either giving away the entire movie. I don't know about you, Tank, but I really feel like that with the state of trailers. And they always have to make it seem like it's something that it's not. You know what I mean? Like, I always feel like the trailers end up disappointing us. But I love the way the trailers were made in the 80s because they just really took all the stops out and made it so exciting. I don't know about you, but just watching that teaser trailer, I mean, listen, it made it exciting to be like to be hyped about a movie coming out 6 months later. You know what I mean? So, like, what were your thoughts on it? After watching the trailer again.
Yeah, it's a great trailer. I agree. Like the trailers nowadays, they don't hold up at all. Well, they don't hold up at all. They give too much away. Like I generally I won't watch 'cause they do normally do 1, 2, or 3 trailers. After the second trailer, I tend to not look at it because I don't want the whole story or the whole plot to be given away.
Exactly.
But but the old trailers, where they just only gave you a peek of what the story is. Those are so much better than how the trailers are now.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, for me, it's like I want to get, like excited about the movie, but certainly I don't want the whole movie to be given away, and I certainly don't want the movie to come out like, wait a second, what did I see in the trailers? Like half of it was cut out and wasn't even the movie. You know what I mean? You notice that too, where
Yeah, especially with Marvel.
yeah, Marvel does that all the time. They gas you up, and then all of a sudden you're not you're not watching the trailers. You're watching the movie, and then the things that they showed in the trailer are not in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like crazy, but yeah, super awesome trailer. Let me give you some stats here, Tank. Okay, biggest opening movie in history at the time in the summer of 1981. The first weekend box office was literally the biggest box office in history. The biggest opening day, single day in history at the time. Now, you're probably going to say, well, what are we talking about? Because we all know that, Endgame, made over like what, 200 million, close to 200 million over the weekend. But no, this is 14 million. Now, you're probably going to think 14 million, but you got to remember, things were a lot different then, and the theater averages were a lot bigger. That's when you really could go to a movie theater, and the lines would be to the end of the block and are like snaked around. I don't know if you've ever experienced anything like that where you're from. I know you were from Detroit. Did you ever experience that where you actually go to the theater and there's a line around the block, or were you just in multiplexes?
I mean, I've even seen like where the line, maybe not around the block, because most of the movie theaters I've been to that I can remember, but there were probably some when I was younger. But when I was younger, I never saw that. But there are times I would go, back before the days of online ordering. We had to go up to the window and buy your tickets.
Right. All I know,
it'd be a long line there, but it'd be a long line there, but never like around the corner. I've never seen anything like that.
Listen, I remember seeing there are several movies that I remember. Return of the Jedi, the line was like literally we had to go around the block, and then we had to wait, a different show. But Superman 2, when it came out, I remember that we had to actually go back because the theater was sold out for the first like 4 shows because we were trying to get into a matinee. And so we finally went back, but the theater was like, the line was like around the block. And so the excitement of seeing Superman return, but this time the 3 villains from Krypton, led by the intergalactic Kryptonian gangster that we know as General Zod. When he wasn't an emo gangster, he wasn't no Man of Steel gangster. He was such a gangster, he just wanted to be totally like ruthless and admired and total admiration. And he just wanted people to just kneel before Zod. He wasn't trying to save anything. He just wanted to, because like in Man of Steel, you remember Man of Steel, right?
Yeah.
So
you're trying to save the whole Kryptonian race.
Right. The only thing going on in Superman 2 is General Zod wants to rule the entire planet Earth. Period. He wants people to bow before him, kneel before him, with the president, everybody. So we know that in this movie, he is a straight up gangster. So to start off with, okay, let me ask you, because I know I talk a lot, and everybody's going to be like, man, just let him get a word in edgewise. So I'm just going to introduce the elephant in the room and say, I'm going to give you that word in edgewise and then some. What were your thoughts revisiting Superman 2?
So like I said, General Zod, he was the best part of the movie. Terrence Stamp did an amazing job as Zod. I like everything up until like the Zod part. I remembered it when I watched it last time. I remembered like being more interested in, or it being more entertaining. But like everything with like Clark and Lois and everything, it was like, I mean, it's still watchable, but I was just like, I remember this being a lot more entertaining last time I watched it. But then also like then like I completely I didn't even I forgot that like I thought that he had like gave up his powers after they had actually got together. I was like, no, wait a minute, he gave up the powers before. I was like, wait a minute, you gave up the powers before you even got any? That's ridiculous. Yep.
There's a unique perspective. So here's the thing. We do know that in this movie, spoiler alert, if you haven't, if you haven't
Seen a 40-year-old movie,
right? If you haven't come back to revisit it, let me just say that Superman, in a moment of extreme weakness, he gives up his powers for the love of a woman. You know what I mean? An Earth woman, which is Lois Lane. And, we both know what happens there because that was a bad move in the sense that, one, Earth, first of all, Earth, is being basically taken over, not even like a 2 nights into his new romance, right? With Lois Lane. And so a lot of things happen, but, you bring up some interesting points. So first, let me just say, it sounds like you didn't like it as much, dare I say, as much as you remembered.
Yeah, everything up until pretty much up until he's everything up until he started fighting. He met up with Zod, or minus all the Zod's parts. I don't know why. I don't know. I just remembered enjoying those parts more than I did this time.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, listen, this movie is near and dear to me. I'm not gonna mince words. I am biased. I love Superman 2 for what it is. And what I mean by that is that Superman 2, as we know, or as I know, and all my Superman aficionados from the original, from the Superman movies with starring Christopher Reeve, there's 2 Supermans, Superman 2 that was released. There's Superman 2 that was released theatrically, and then later in 2006, after a campaign, before the Snyder Cut, there was the release, the Richard Donner cut. Okay, so let me just say, before the grassroots campaigns ever happened on the internet, it happened at the beginning of the beginning in the early days of the internet to campaign to get the Richard Donner cut released. So what a lot of people don't realize is that when Superman was released, when it was filmed, rather, they were filming both Superman 1 and Superman 2 together, concurrently. So Richard Donner, rest in peace, the guy who directed Goonies, The Omen, of course, Superman the movie, and he was directing Superman 2, as well as he's directed, the Lethal Weapon movies. The thought was, hey, we've got to get the original Superman the movie released. So they stopped production on doing Superman 2, and they focused on Superman the movie. Superman the movie was released. He had a falling out with the producers. I'm not going to get into it here, but it got ugly, and he was, believe it or not, Superman grossed over $300 million worldwide, which, accounting for inflation, would be over $1 billion now. But what ended up happening was they fired Richard Donner. Now, here's the crazy part. The director that they replaced with him, his name is Richard Lester. He actually had to shoot a lot of different scenes, right? And to get the director's credit. But they used a substantial amount of scenes in Superman 2 that was released theatrically. A lot. So, there's a lot of scenes, Tank, that I don't know if you realize that there's 2 different directors that directed Superman 2. At the theatrical cut. So yeah. I don't know if you recognize that, or do you recall the story behind that?
I didn't know the story about it. But when I watched it, I was looking out for, the differences in the 2. But I did notice a few differences in the 2 cuts.
Yeah, and there was a lot of differences. There was a different opening. They
cut out the part where he got hit by the car. They cut that out.
Right. There was a ton of different things. Now, there will be a time where we will talk about Superman, the 2 Supermans, and Superman 2, and we'll do a deep dive. But this show is focused solely on the theatrical cut. But of course, I'd be remiss not to bring up the shenanigans that happened that led to this theatrical cut that was released. Right. And so let's just talk about the first scene. Superman 2 opens with just a blast, because what ends up happening is Lois Lane is in Paris, right? And there's terrorists that's going to blow up the Eiffel Tower. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
So let me play it out to you. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it again. It basically opens up with Superman montage of the previous movie, and it goes right into Clark showing up for work, and then his editor Perry White saying, "Yo, there was a terrorist, and I got Lois there." And Clark's like, "Well, wait a minute, what do you mean? What do you mean you got Lois? She's over there. That's crazy. It's dangerous." And then his boss is like, "Yeah, that's why they call him terrorist." It's like, little tidbits like that. But anyway, a really cool scene shows him going out and going into an alley and turning into Superman the traditional way, not the Man of Steel Henry Cavill BS way. Mr. Spike, I hear what you're saying. Christopher Reeve is no Henry Cavill. Let me just say, Henry Cavill is no Christopher Reeve, sir. All right, you're entitled to your opinion, but you are definitely way off base. But it starts off with that. And he heads out to Paris to save Lois. Right now, some of the effects, there's some challenges there because they did rush it to refilm it. So let me just tell you that when you see certain scenes where there's good scenes, and then you're like, what happened? Like he doesn't even look like it looks cardboardish, or it doesn't look as good. That's the reason why, because they refilmed everything in a rush. Certain scenes, and that's the reason why some of the quality doesn't stand up over time, if that makes sense. Is that what you noticed too, Tank?
Oh yeah, a lot of things especially like the flying did not look the best at all. Like when he's throwing certain busting through walls and cars and everything, it looked very looked like I said, very cardboard paperish.
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing. I mean, listen, in 1981. I was so hyped for this movie, and listen, for the effects for its time. I think honestly, it was really, really good, and people were excited about it. I mean, they were excited about like super powered villains fighting each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so while we may look at it and go, "Ooh, this doesn't look as good as I remembered it," you know what I mean? A lot of movies, as we all know, everybody, Tank. Can you believe this, everybody? I'm going to just say one thing here. I mean, it's factual. I'm not throwing him under the bus. But Tank said that Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and in essence, the entire Star Wars original trilogy, he said the effects were dated. He said Star Wars effects were dated, everybody. So and I know that I already knew that we were going to get some work on the effects as soon as we started talking about it, because that's exactly how it is. I knew you were going to start talking about the effects and some of them looking dated. Can you give me some positives that you notice while rewatching Superman 2 as it pertains to the effects and the fighting?
Oh, just the effects and the fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of the flying scenes, like when they were like the far away scenes, like chasing scenes, those still hold up. But when they just like zoomed in on them flying, those didn't hold up. But like when they were like showing, like there was one scene where they show like them flying really fast and Zod chasing Superman.
Hank and I were talking about was the fact that during the moon fight, right, that the villains basically murdered the astronauts, like straight up. Gangster went right to it. They didn't waste any time. They went in there and they basically, killed off all three astronauts. And what we were talking about is, well, what happened? Like was that an appropriate thing to happen? And then what did you say, Tank?
It wasn't appropriate. No, I was. Yeah, you asked if it was if I was shocked by it, which I said no, I was not shocked by it at all. I mean, that's what true supervillains do. They kill people mercilessly, and that's what Zod and Ursula and Nan are. Even on on Krypton before they had powers.
Right.
They didn't care.
Right. What was the lady's name again? I forgot.
Is it Ursa?
Yeah, it's Ursa. You said Ursula.
Ursula.
That was
I know you're not coming at me about pronunciation, sir.
I thought you were I thought you were talking about the Little Mermaid, and you said Ursula. So I was like, no, that's the wrong movie.
It's close. But so give them superpowers, and yeah, they're gonna be even worse. So shocked, was it appropriate? Absolutely not, because nothing supervillains do is appropriate. But was I shocked about it? Not at all.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked either. But let me just tell you that scene was fully filmed by Richard Donner. Did you know that? So that scene was not filmed by the director Richard Lester, who released the theatrical. They used that full scene. So that scene, the serious tone of it, was because the original director Richard Donner actually directed it. So
Makes
yeah,
sense.
so there's a fun fact. Let me just give a shout out real quick to the room. Vic Vega, I see you. Mills Lane, I see you. Stephanie Davey, I see you. Dark Eyes, the whole crew is there. Mills Lane, I see you guys. Of course, my brothers Cliff Bravo, Mac J. Appreciate you guys are all there. Everyone that's listening now, tuning in at our deconstruct of Superman 2. I do want to check something, so I'm going to need the audience's help on this. I'm going to go back to where we were before to see if you guys can hear us now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring us to the different montage of scenes from Superman 2. Guys, can you hear us? All right, we're back. Maybe they can't hear us, so we're gonna abandon that issue and move on. So we gotta love the gotta love it. But listen. So Mills Lane says Superman 2, I want to be a human. Wah! So yeah, so let's talk about that. So let's talk about it. Obviously, we want to keep things light, so we're going to be a little comedic here and mean no disrespect to the movie, to the role, or anything like that. But let's have a little fun here. Superman basically is giving up his powers for the love of Lois Lane. Now, here's the thing. There's no prenup there, because if you lose your powers and you don't realize you can get your powers back, that's a risky venture. Let me ask you, Tank. Would you, for the love of a woman, let me finish that. Let me finish the question here. For the love of a woman, would you lose all your powers on Earth?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I would not give up my powers. No.
Okay, so you're not gonna give up your powers. I get that. And tell the audience why. And let me give a shout out to Danny, our co-host, who is on assignment, as well as Spike, who is out there as well. We see you, and we were excited about what you're going to bring and what you're finding out in Hollywood. All right, go ahead. Back to you, Tank. So why wouldn't you do it?
There's no reason to. Like, if I want to be with a woman, she should, you're supposed to love me for me. These powers are me. And also, like, as a divorced man, I know it can end. So it ends. I'm without the woman I loved and my powers.
Right.
So I'm just all
right.
over.
But in the movie, though, it sounded like when he talked to his mom, right? Because Superman goes back to Superman returns to the Fortress of Solitude, his crystal palace, for lack of a better word, and he talks to his mom, or at least the archive version of mom, because what they do is they have all these things programmed. So if he has any questions, because they're such an intelligent species, that they can basically look back at the archives and ask that question, and then the mom's going to answer it. And then basically she said, listen, if you want to be with this woman, you got to release your powers. All your great powers on Earth will be removed, and that's that. And then he tells her straight up, I love her, mother. So, wow. You know what I mean? That's heavy duty right there. If yeah. I mean, what do you think?
He should have lied. not told his computer mom that he was in love with. Just kept that one to myself.
Yeah, so you're thinking that it probably wasn't a good idea for him to at all talk about, that situation.
No, not if that meant they were going to force him to lose his powers. No.
Okay. All right. Well, fair. Hey, listen. That's
the weird thing is, like, as good as his hearing is, like, he should have been able to hear all the nonsense going on with Zod taking over the world while he even at the fortress.
Right. Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, no one's perfect, right? I mean, he slipped up. He was having a good time. He had some champagne. I don't know if you saw that, but he popped a little bit of the bubbly. I mean, he was doing his thing, right? And so John H. says he couldn't help. It's that power of the woman. Of the woman. That's actually one of the viewers that mentioned that. So So without getting too much into those weeds there, going too much in the weeds there, let me just say that at that point they go to a truck stop. Okay.
Wait a minute. First, I gotta ask you: would you give up your powers?
Okay.
For the love of a woman.
So here's the thing. No. Because you know why? Because I know that I could give the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. So as to quote, Star Trek, when Spock said, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one, and he sacrificed himself and killed him. He basically, killed himself trying to save the Star Trek guys. Anyway, and gals. But I wouldn't do it because, one, I like to fly, I like my powers and stuff. I don't think I would want to give it up. And I would like to have that control and power to use it for good, of course. I would use it for good, right? And I just think that, what if it didn't work out?
Yeah, like then you're out without the woman and without the power.
Exactly. I mean, that's a big thing right there. You're asking a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, he could date her. You know what I mean? Right? I mean, he could date her. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So I wouldn't do that. But let me just say, they end up at the truck stop. You remember that scene?
Oh yeah.
So here's the thing. They end up at the truck stop, and he's there with his lady now, newly minted without powers. And what do you know? He ends up going to the truck stop, and there has to be a douchebag there. Because you know what? Sooner or later, there's going to be a douchebag that's going to try him. And now he doesn't have his superpowers. And take us through what happened there.
Yeah, so they get to the truck stop. Then Clark, because can't really say he's Kal-El at that point anymore.
Right.
Clark, he goes to the bathroom real quick. Then typical truck stop douchebag comes in, starts hitting on Lois. Clark comes out the bathroom, tries to stand up for Lois. Then decides, the truck stop guy says, make me, does a typical thing, says, make me move or make me get away.
Mm-hmm.
Then Clark tries to fight and realizes, oh, I can't fight without my superpowers. And gets completely beaten to a bloody, not bloody pole, but he gets beaten badly.
He did get They gave him a beating.
Joe.
They did give him a beating. Yeah. But let's be honest, he's not used to people fighting dirty, okay? Because that truck driver fought dirty. He said, after you, and then he hit him in the back, which I thought was really weird that he hit him in the back, He just basically hit him in the back, and he fell to the glass. And, so that was kind of messed up because, basically he took his seat and, he was upset about it. But let's flip this up a little bit. Clark was acting a little gangster himself. He was like, excuse me, sir, I think you're sitting in my seat. And then the truck driver said, no, your seat's over there, Four Eyes. And then he go, well, see, instead of de-escalating, right, and just taking another seat with Lois, he goes, I think somebody got to teach you some manners, sir. And then the truck driver goes, oh, yeah, let me know when he comes in. So already he's popping off, right? He's popping off.
He had that Superman bravado.
Yes,
with powers.
Yes, he had his Superman bravado, bro. And then he shows up right on him. And he was just like, oh, okay, you want to step outside? And then, boom. Of course, he fought dirty, the truck driver. But then, not to be outdone, I don't think he was realizing he was bleeding at that point and that he was injured. Maybe he was in shock. But he gets up, and he wants some more. And so then he gets a knuckle sandwich. Bro, it was terrible, bro. It was like, let me tell you, I remember in the theater, bro, and I was really upset, bro. I was so upset and I didn't realize that there would be a payoff at the end. So in my kid mind, I'm thinking to myself, that was 1981, so I was probably 8 years old. So my 8-year-old was thinking like, what happened, man? What happened? Why'd you get rid of your powers, man? And so yeah, that was not a good move for him. That was definitely not a good move. And can we give a shout out to all the good supportive women out there that were willing to fight for their man, because Lois went on him like a spider monkey, bro. Yo, she went in there and she was just like, you know what? She went crazy, bro. Like, I don't know if you saw that.
She had to. Like, this man just gave up his powers for you. And the first fight he gets in, he gets
a beating.
He gotta have my back.
He got a beating. But give her props. She came in, and then that was that. Now, to add insult to injury, at that very moment, there's an important message from the President of the United States at the truck stop TV set. And there it goes. Let me give you the setup, right? So the setup is this. Clark is like bleeding and all kinds of stuff is going on. Lois is looking up, and then we have an important message from the President of the United States. And then all of a sudden the president's like, this is your president. On behalf of the United States and other countries of the world. So he's not only talking for the United States, he's talking about all the other countries who he's consulted with. He straight up goes, I hereby abdicate all authority and control over the planet to General Zod. At that moment, Clark knew he messed up. No, he didn't mess up. He effed up. But yes, he messed up because he was like, Zod? When? Where? And then all of a sudden, it comes out to him. And now, I got to give props to, let's be honest, the president. At this point, he ain't got nothing to lose. So immediately in the press conference, he's like, Superman, where are you? And then your boy Zod goes, who is this Superman? And then he goes, you'll find out, General. And I'm thinking to myself, he's going to rip his head off. He's going to rip his head off. If it was Man of Steel, he would have ripped the head off. He would have. Would he have ripped the head off if it was Man of Steel, Zack Snyder?
Oh, yeah.
He would have. So at that point.
Yeah, that's odd, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So at that point, he's like, you'll find out, General, when you do. And then all of a sudden, Zod comes into one of many classic, just like hysterically crazy, like, yeah, exactly. He's just like, who is this Superman? Come to me, Superman, if you dare. I defy you. Come and kneel before Zod. Zod! And all of a sudden, it blinks out. And all of a sudden, Clark is like, I really screwed up bad. I screwed up so bad that I just don't know if I'm going to be able to come back. So what does he do? The first thing he says is like, I got to go back. I got to go back. And I'm thinking to myself, what do you think at this point? Like, do you think to yourself, I got to figure it out, right? Or do you think, man, I'll just pretend I'm just a nobody and, like, just to see what happens, see if we can still live? Like, what would you do in that instance?
Well, I wouldn't have been in that situation. I'd never give my powers. But if I was in that situation, knowing that, I had a way to help, because, it was only going to get, it was only a matter of time before Zod did whatever, started subjugating everyone.
Exactly.
So it was only a matter of time. So like knowing that I could, I had a chance to, go back, get my powers and stop this. Yeah, I would have did the same thing and went back up, begged my mom and dad for my powers back.
So here's the irony of it. He first of all, he doesn't have a car to get back to his fortress, but he walks because, hey, what else are you gonna do?
The North Pole.
And here's the
survive.
And he survived. But here's the crazy part. Not only is he walking in sub-zero conditions, but he experiences what we all call human savagery. He tries to hitchhike with a little jacket and to try and tell a truck driver to stop. And you think the truck driver stopped? Heck no. Kept it moving.
I don't know this man.
He just kept it moving. And so, it was ballistic. So at this point, he shows up, and, we all know that it pretty much is not looking good for him. But what did you know? Lois Lane had actually accidentally, without her realizing, hid the main crystal under her purse. I don't know if she was trying to take it or what, but she hid it under her purse so it didn't get destroyed. That main crystal is what was able to summon the remnants of the console that gave him the ideas to get his powers back or whatever it was. Now, I want everyone to know, in the theatrical version, you don't know how he gets his powers back. I will tell you, if you watch the Richard Donner cut, you will see he gets his powers back from his father. So that, I think, was a payoff we missed in the theatrical version, because Marlon Brando portrayed his dad, Jor-El. Yeah. But in the Richard Donner cut, Jor-El comes up, and basically Jor-El, hooks him up. And you got to watch it if you haven't seen it. The effects they weren't completely done because, they had to do things like, in 2006 to kind of like give us a working print. But let me tell you something, that was a more bigger payoff than just what happened. So at this point, we know now that he's going to get his powers. But now we go to Lex Luthor. Now let's talk about a little bit about Gene Hackman and Lex Luthor. Let's talk about how he is trying to negotiate with General Zod and his minions and his goons. Bro, first of all, would you take the risk that he took to go and ask them to negotiate to give him a country or whatever? And would you have believed them that they would have honored it?
Absolutely not. Like, there are, I know this Lex Luthor was a bit more of a goofy one, but they are what, he initially always feared. Yeah, I know, I remember, Lex Luthor's, his hatred of Superman, it started from him thinking one day, he could go evil at any time and take over the world. That's what they are. They are the, exactly, that Kryptonians who did take over. So for him to go up there, trying to finesse his way into getting a country, I can give you the world. I'm in the president's chair. I already got the world. What can you give me?
Right. And but then he puts out his ace in the hole. What I'm gonna give you is what you do not have, the son of Jor-El. So now, of course, because let's be honest, General Zod is so punch drunk with power. He's so power hungry drunk that he doesn't stay focused on the eye of the game. He's like, wait a second, what? And so automatically he wants revenge. And then they start acting like giddy, like school kids, all of them. They're like, revenge, revenge. And basically Lex Luthor, that's where it becomes more comedic at times, right? Because at that time he becomes a little bit more goofier, but that's how he thinks he's going to get to Superman, because he goes to Lois Lane, which is where they end up at the Daily Planet, right? So listen, these guys don't waste any time. They just go right in and they start. Let's talk about where we got to this point, guys, but not after Lois and Clark ended up at Niagara Falls. And so I would be remiss to not talk about what happened in Niagara Falls. First of all, are you going to let your kid look at your kid and basically go, look, Ma, and I'm literally about to fall off into the falls? What kind of a parent is going to do that? That's crazy. Did you think that was reckless? Because I thought it was reckless.
Yeah, it's just like that, the parent with the Harambe, the monkey. Why are you letting your kid just hang off stuff?
Crazy. And then, on top of that, let's talk about when Lois is trying to figure out if Clark Kent is Superman. Bro, are you really going to throw yourself into the Niagara Falls and then think he's going to rescue you? What if it wasn't true? Then what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? You're going to be dead. So she lucked out. But anyway, I digress. But let's talk about, we're in the Daily Planet right now, and the shit is about to hit the fan, and the villains show up, and they start cracking heads. They're tearing up the place. And I'm enjoying it. I'm here for it. Are you here for it? Because I like it because, one, they're not wasting time. They mean business. They're like, you know what? We could go through the door, but why do we need to do that? I'm General Zod. I'm gonna make an entrance, right? Yeah. So he makes an entrance. Similar to when they were in that town that was supposed to be Houston, but let's be honest. Does that look like a Houston to you? That looked like English town dressed as United States town, which it was, by the way. But let's talk about the fact that they're throwing grenades. The army is shooting missiles at them, and at one pivotal scene, Ursa blows a kiss at the helicopter, and the helicopter crashes, and they kill them all.
More magical Kryptonian powers.
Craziness. Well, I don't think that was magical because she was using her blowing breath. She was like,
yeah,
they could blow, Anyway, I digress. But let's move on from that. So we're getting back to the Daily Planet. The shit's hitting the fan, and they get to Lois Lane, and Lois Lane starts popping off at Ursa because Ursa was like, this is the son of Jor-El's old lady? See, like, what's up with that? Why would he want to be with her? Like, that's basically what she said to him. She goes, She's like basically saying, what an undemanding male, something under whatever, like trying to basically, and then she goes, yeah, you could use a tuck here and there yourself. Like trying to say, yeah, look at yourself. And then that's when things were going to hit the fan. Now, at this moment, everybody, this iconic scene happens because at this point, they're ready to throw down in there, and guess who shows up right in the nick of time? I'm going to play this iconic scene right now.
General? Would you care to step outside?
Superman.
Superman, thank God. I mean, get him! Come to me, son of Jor-El! Kneel before Zod!
And we are back. And so, here you go. You know, I mean, it doesn't get any iconic as this. As you mentioned earlier, Tank, let's deconstruct this scene. Because I think Superman's he's feeling himself, right? He shows up, and he says this iconic line, General, would you care to step outside? Now, I think it's playing a little bit differently when he told the other guy to step outside and got a beating. So what were your thoughts when you first saw it, when you revisited that scene and you saw that?
First, before I gotta say, before that happened, Terrence Stamp said one of my favorite Zod lines is, "Why would you say this to me when you know I will kill you?" that is my favorite Zod line. That is my favorite line.
Wait, you know what? I forget. You know what? In the course of that, there's so many priceless things that Zod said. Let's talk about that for a moment, okay? Because you got to know that Lex Luthor was towing, bro. He was skating, bro. The ice was gonna break. He was skating on the ice that was about to break, and he kept on pushing him, and and he's like, look, basically telling him, look, I'm bringing him to you, and what's all this, oh, Neil and all that, and then he gets pissed at him. He's like, why do you say this to me when you know I will kill you for it? And then he's like, kill me, Lex Luthor? Extinguish the greatest criminal flame of our age? Eradicate the only man on earth with... Kill him, is what Ursa says. And then he goes, Superman's address? And then, of course, he has to get all like, come, the three of us. So, let's just get down to it, bro. Let's cut all the shenanigans and all the, hee-haw, and I'm, Zod. But, Zod likes to be, he reminds me of somebody. I won't say. It's too political. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway, it's a joke. So, Superman shows up, and, there's a lot of ass kicking that happens at this point, and it's very enjoyable. A little cartoonish at times. I get it, but I'm here for it, especially when Superman gets basically hurled one of those street lids, the what is it, the sewer lid, right?
Yeah, sewer lid, yeah.
And then he gets it swung to him, and then he ends up crashed in there, and he fights Zod, and he throws Zod into the Coke sign. That to me is iconic. But
Yeah.
but you got to admit, when they throw the actual bus at him, the bus.
The fact that everyone thought that all the people around him thought that killed him. I'm like, really?
Dude,
a bus killed Superman?
Right. Let's
Slap yourself.
Right. Let's talk about that though, because they were like, they killed him, and then
And then they were gonna go fight.
they want to fight. Let's go get him with sticks.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
And then
They've been throwing buses and cars and heat eyes,
right.
laser eyes, and you think a whole bunch of humans with sticks
Right.
are gonna do something to them?
And here's
would have been running.
And here's the crazy part. You know and I know. If it was Man of Steel Zod and they pulled that, he would have just did what he was trying to do when he caught a cracked neck from Superman. He would basically would have tried to flame them all up, you know, with his heat vision, because that's how gangster he was. But what did
That's different because this Zod wanted to control the human
Correct.
race.
He didn't want to destroy them.
That Zod wanted to replace
Correct. And
the human race.
there was two different agendas, right? This Zod wanted total admiration. He wanted to be it's like a Game of Thrones kind of thing with the Kryptonians, you know? He wanted total admiration. He wanted subjects. He wanted it all. If he kills them all, he got nobody, and then he gets bored. Yes? So, dude, the whole thing, but you got to admit, like, there were certain things in there that was a little suspect. Let's talk about the guy in the roller skates that was getting, blown away, and then he starts roller skating. I don't know if you remember that scene.
Yeah.
Or the scene with the cars. Tell me a little bit about the cars. I know you wanted to bring it up, so let's talk about the cars.
It's like back to what I said. It looked very, very paper, cardboardish. Like it's like, like they were, just. I said it was 1980. I'm not gonna, it's 1981.
Actually, it was made. It was made in. Just so you know, it was actually made in 1979. So
79.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, that's a,
yeah. It's a long time ago. Doesn't it doesn't hold up now, but I mean, who would expect it?
Right, but it's also fun to watch because when you think about it, a lot of the effects, there's some really good shots in there. Like when you see Superman fighting Ursa in the air, and then she breaks the flagpole, and then he ducks, and then she hits Non, and he crashes into the Empire State Building spire. That was a pretty very well executed scene at that point. And then there were certain scenes throughout that was mixed through it that I thought was pretty cool. Like when Superman got thrown into the Marlboro truck. I guess they used to sell cigarettes out of the truck or something. I don't know.
I don't.
But they're pretty cool scenes there. What stands out to you out of those fight scenes in the streets of Metropolis, aka New York City?
When they fight, when Zod, when they were fighting on the street on top of the car, it was just that weird scene where he was they weren't really fighting, they were just doing a power struggle type of thing. That was where I was like, is someone going to throw a punch or something?
Yes.
No, we're just going to do this power struggle.
So when they grabbed him, and then all of a sudden he was like,
Yeah.
I got you, and then he just
he
throws him to the thing. Yes, but you got to admit though, when he kicked him, and then he started spinning around. That was pretty funny when he spinned him around and then flung him into the Diet Coke sign. That was pretty cool. You gotta admit. I was like, okay, all right, I see you, Superman. And then of course, Non, he crashed him into the sewers, and they were fighting in the sewers, and everybody was shaking and everything. So those were pretty cool scenes. But as you mentioned, the scene with the bus, and at the end, that was pretty crazy. But that wasn't the end of it. Because at that point, your favorite scene comes up, or one of your favorite scenes, because in the midst of all that, Superman flees, but he's really fleeing to save innocent lives. Yeah. Okay? So this is the difference between our Superman and Spike's version of Henry Cavill, when he says Henry Cavill is all, perfect and everything. Well, Henry Cavill didn't give a rat's ass about those civilians that were getting killed left and right.
Yeah, but let's say, the Zod and Ursa and Nana he had to fight. They were a lot more gangster and brutal than
This is
than
true.
these.
This is true. I agree.
But and also but I agree. He should have done better with getting them far away so that he didn't destroy a whole block.
Yeah, exactly. But let's be honest here. You got to admit, Lex Luthor was really pushing it. And he was getting fresh, and he was really he was egging Zod on, right? Because he got mad. He was like, "What happened? I thought you were gonna kick his ass. What happened?" And he's complaining to Zod, and Zod gets pissed off. But in all of the Zod, like he's like, what does he say? Go ahead. I know you were quoting it, so.
Why would you say this to me when you know I will kill you?
Yes. And then he's like arguing to him why he shouldn't kill him. So basically, he knows where Superman is. Spike says it's casualties of war, my brother. More like, I don't think casualties of war. I think rather, if I'm superhuman, I should be a little bit more conscientious of who I'm throwing buses at or who I'm fighting in the streets of Metropolis. But that's neither here nor there. It's obvious you have a Batmanish mentality. Anyway, so getting back to what we were saying, Tank. So at that point they head over to good old Fortress of Solitude. Now when they show up, this is one of the many superpowers that, let's be honest, it was kind of batshit crazy. Let's talk about what Superman does when.
Well, first,
go ahead.
The hand beams, the hand beams, like no, never.
Right, but before the hand beams, though, when he goes, I expect better manners from my guests, Zod, and all of a sudden, Non flies to him, and what does Superman do?
He threw a Fruit Loop at him.
Like, dude, what?
He took his S and turned it into a Fruit Loop.
He threw an S at, like, it's almost like the Suicide Squad. What's that, Polka Dot Man? He threw the polka dots before the polka dots were, like, relevant. You know what I mean? Like, he threw his Superman S, and it just crashed on him. I don't know. That was kind of weird. It was like cellophane. And, yeah, that was suspect. And then they start using the laser beams. So
out of their hands.
Out of their hands.
Out of their
So, we know that there was a couple of things that they used expeditiously, but it's okay. I was for it. Or when Superman turned into like 20 different Supermans. Let's talk about that.
That like what?
A lot of crazy stuff. But overall, though, no matter what, you could watch it. It's still actually enjoyable because it's so crazy. Some of the scenes, it's
like the hand beams I didn't mind, the clones I didn't mind, but that Superman S Fruit Loop bothers me.
That was a little suspect. I get it, but you have to admit it was pretty fun. And it made it, the whole thing was fun. But at the end, this is what let's talk about what did. Spoiler alert for the people that haven't watched the 40-year-old movie. Zod, in all his and Luthor, because Luthor's so full of shit. Basically, Superman tricks Luthor because he knew he would betray him because he knew what a weasel he was. He lies to Luthor about the powers being removed and basically hides in the chamber while they're being exposed by the rays that remove the powers or something along those lines, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So at that point, Superman comes in there, but here's the problem. Zod's so punch drunk with power in his head that he wants him to kneel before him, that he doesn't even think, well, maybe I should just hold off for a minute before I start making these crazy decisions, right? Because he really held all the cards. Lois Lane was going to be killed. They could have destroyed the rest of the Earth because they have his powers equally, right? But what does he do? He does what a lot of the villains do at the end. They make the simple mistake of they slept on the hero. And that's what Zod did. And so what happens is this scene plays out. Superman supposedly has lost his powers, and in an act of absolute Superman savagery along the lines of Man of Steel, Superman does his own level of street justice a la Man of Steel. Watch this scene and tell me what you think.
Finally. Take my hand and swear eternal loyalty to Zod.
All right, so, so here we go. So here's the perfect scene, illustrated in perfect detail. Zod thought he was slick. He thought that he was going to have Superman kneel before him. And what happens? Superman tricked them all. And this is where people need to realize this was absolute savagery, because not only did he basically broke every bone in his hand.
Yeah, broke his hand, and he killed
him. So let's talk about that. What'd you think about it? Were you excited about it? Do you think that was like, hey, you know what? He actually did kill people, because he killed Zod in Superman 2.
Yeah. I mean, as I said before, I mean, if I was a superhero, I would, the really bad villains, they ain't no going to jail for them. They're going to see just Jesus or Satan.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm all for this. Like I said, he had to especially like the hand smashes. Was the hand cracking or breaking was the perfect way to show him that it was like,
yes,
haha,
yes. And what was really savage and gangsta, he basically did the 1-2 trick. He kneeled before him just so that he could do what he did, and that had to hurt more than him breaking every bone in his body, because he gassed him up like he was actually kneeling before him to be subjugated, and well, that's basically Zod getting his revenge against Jor-El for putting him in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
AKA the record label, the record sleeve, the mirror record sleeve. And what happens? Bam! He, first of all, Spike tricked. He lied. Tomato, bro. I call it strategy. You know what I mean? You want to call it lies? I call it strategy. I call it tricked. You want to call it lies and be a hater because you're a Batman fan? Go right ahead. But he did what he had to do, and then Luthor thought he was slick. So what did Luthor say to him?
Oh, he tried to trick him out. Oh yeah, he said I was with you all the time. I knew you were kidding.
Right, and then Luthor was like, nah. I mean, Superman was like, nah. I'm not falling for that. Too late, Luthor. Too late. And then he tries to negotiate him, and then they go and they do their thing, right? And so the great thing about that scene is that Superman basically outwitted all of them, because they were all punch drunk, and they both all. First of all, let's talk about the fact that General Zod is first of all, he definitely he's a welcher, because how many times was he gonna kill Luthor after he promised him Australia and all these different places, and as soon as he had his way, he was about to betray him. And Luthor, because he's such a power hungry narcissist, still tried to negotiate with this dude when they were both trying to screw each other off. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so so basically it doesn't end there, but Superman brings Lois back to her house. Lois is upset because she knows that he's gonna break up with her, and let's talk about what happens at the office.
More magical Kryptonian power.
Yo, let me tell you, the kiss of
amnesia.
Right, the forgetfulness.
The kiss of amnesia.
Not only does Superman go in there and basically you know what he does? He does a Men in Black. What you know what I'm talking about, with and basically wipes out her memory with a kiss. And I mean, that is messed up, bro. Because not only is she crying like a baby and she's really upset, and I'm not trying to obviously make fun of her, but yeah, I am. But she's crying because she's like, well, we can't be together and this and that. And here's the crazy part. She's like, he's saying, well, we can still be friends and stuff. And she's like, no, because now I got to remember you and this and that. And he's like, oh, we're going to play like that now. You know what I mean? It's almost like, well, you trying to use that as leverage? But yeah, right. He gives her a kiss. He makes her forget. Now, I will tell you guys, in this Richard Donner cut, he actually goes back in time. So the original ending for Superman 2 was to go back in time like it never happened. So there you go. So so that's what ends up happening. But Lois Lane forgets, but oh my God, Bill Lane says, Bill Cosby, Bill Lane, you ain't right. So here's the crazy part. Getting back to the ending of Superman 2. in the course of all this, and this, Spike, I will give to you because.
No,
That's what I'm trying to.
So
That's
how
what I'm
Superman has he done this too before?
Right? I know. So here's what happens. Superman goes to Lois, and she's like, "Oh, I'm hungry for a hamburger or whatever you want to call it." I don't know about you, but I thought she was pregnant, I thought they were alluding to that. I don't know if you noticed that when he's like, a hamburger at 9 a.m. And she's like, yeah, with pickles on it and all that. I was thinking, uh-oh. And as we know, in Superman Returns, she did have a kid that was supposed to be loosely based on Superman 2. But anyway, that's a whole other story that we'll have to talk about another day. But check this out. Not only does he go to get a hamburger, but this guy, he's so pissed about getting his ass kicked. Superman, our beloved Superman, flies halfway around the world to go near the Arctic at some random truck stop so he could find out if old boy was there so he could throw down and give him the biggest ass whipping of his life. Let's talk about that scene because I don't care what you say. That's iconic, crowd cheering moment. I remember in the theater, people were cheering. What did you think about that scene? Do you think that was very un-Superman of him to do that? What are your thoughts?
It's Clark Kent Superman. It's very Tank Superman. Yeah, I'm petty. I'm petty. But that Superman. I mean, I guess that how they always try to portray Superman, or how people who aren't true Superman fans would portray him as always being a goody-goody, where the true Superman fans know that he has that side where he can be vengeful.
Right.
So I like the scene. Rewatching, I'm like, so everyone saw you get beat down, and then you come back, and not only do you beat him up, he punches you and breaks his hand punching you.
In 20 different.
No one suspects.
None.
That this might be Superman.
But here is the really awesome part of that. After he doesn't even touch the guy. Okay? Like, in other words, the guy just hurts himself, except when he lifts him up and he puts him on in the tray of food, and he goes. But I thought that was kind of petty of him to say. When he first came in, he said, "What are you looking at, Four Eyes?" He goes, "I've never seen garbage eat garbage before." Yeah. So he's coming. He wants the smoke, bro. Let's be honest. Oh. He's coming for the smoke. So already he's causing.
Man, swagger back.
He's already causing problems, and you can see he's got that swagger back too, because he's walking like this, looking all Supermanish. You know what I mean? And like the other guys are like all panicked and everything in there. And the way he comes in there, and he knows we know what's gonna happen, right? But the part that this was like a nice add-on was when he gives them the money for the damage he did to the joint, and then when they're looking at him, so everyone's wondering, as well as Tank, that they didn't think that this was Superman. He tells them he didn't don't worry, he didn't kiss everybody and make them forget. He goes, I've been working out. And listen. That was a crowd-worthy moment. And at that very moment, he leaves, and this is what we see, and then we'll come back for some closing thoughts.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Sorry I've been away so long. I won't let you down again.
And he flies by, and that's how the Superman 2 ends. It ends with Superman returning the United States flag, patriotic and all, right to the White House after the White House was demolished. They're cleaning up. Obviously, the president's there because, hey, why not have him in the wide open, just chilling while they're fixing everything. But, that's neither here nor there. But he tells him, hey, sorry for letting you down, and here we go. and there it ends with him saying, "I won't let you down again." But if you watch Superman 3, when he turned bad, I think he did let him down. But that's neither here nor there. That's Richard Pryor's fault. And that's a whole other movie that we'll talk about one day. But all in all, my friend, I will tell you this, Tank. I can still watch Superman 2, and I enjoy it because it's just fun, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's crazy at times, and the effects are a little, sus. But it's fun to watch it. Like you said, Terry Stamp has an amazing, or Terrence Stamp, however, I don't know exactly the pronunciation. I should know. I know that my all my group of people that know.
Yo, it's Terrence, but you call him Terry like your best friend.
Right, exactly. And so, exactly. But hey, it was an amazing performance. Christopher Reeve was at his top of his game. All of the actors in there, did a great job. And ultimately, I thought it was an amazing movie. It was a huge blockbuster. It made just as much, or close to what Superman the movie made. It was a huge hit. Obviously, broke records. It actually broke the Empire Strikes Back record that was made in 1980 when it opened. But, those records are always meant to be broken. You know what I mean? Like, they start releasing them in more theaters. And, once multiplexes came in, it didn't matter at that point. They just, at that point, it becomes more of a, like a situation where, geez, I lost my thought. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. What was I? Let's see, I talked so damn much, I forgot what I was saying. What was I talking about? Box office? Oh, yeah, Yeah. And so, like, multiplexes and all these things it's not like the old days where you could just go to one theater and it's playing in one theater. Now it's in like 20 million, but who knows what's going to happen now, because the theaters may not recover like we remember. But let me just say, at the end, that iconic scene, I know that Alento, Spike brought this up, that Superman flying by and smiling at the audience, that was actually Richard Donner who suggested it, because he wanted Superman to connect to the audience. Because let's be honest, when you see a guy in bright, blue suit with a cape on and an S, you have to get past that and treat it seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also care for the character and love the character. Kind of like with what they did with Captain America, Captain America, let's be honest, he's a Boy Scout, just like Superman, right? In the sense that he's a do-gooder, but they made it to where we could relate because we had that origin. I think that's where Superman the movie and Superman 2 really got it right, because they made the audience love Superman as a character, and Christopher Reeve, rest in peace. So I got to say, great show, Tank. I love talking about Superman. You and I can talk about Superman forever, you know what I mean? Because we love Superman. For those of you that don't know, I'm not the only resident Superman maniac here. Tank is as well. He's always been a huge Superman fan, and he is a wealth of knowledge. And, so both of us, when we discussed having this show, we wanted it to be fun. We didn't want it to just be a trivia fest. We wanted it to be, comedic, but also we wanted to ultimately let everybody know that if you haven't had a chance to revisit Superman 2, check it out, man. Check it out with your kid, if you have a younger kid, or if you have an older kid, or if you're your niece, nephew, whatever, or if you just want to have fun and watch it yourself. It's actually pretty fun to watch again. And I don't know about you, but it just makes me feel all kind of warm and fuzzy inside, my friend. Kind of warm and fuzzy. Like a nice bourbon. I don't drink, but if you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I get you.
So, as we always do, because I know Danny would probably give me that work if I didn't do it, we always give a review of all our films as we revisit them. So, I'm going to go back and I'm going to give Superman 2 an A. And the reason for it is that I'm looking at it in the eyes of an 8-year-old in 1981 in New York City watching Superman 2 in the big screen and just being thrilled that he was fighting superpowered villains from Krypton. How about you, Tank?
Give it like a A-. This scenes the beginning where,
Right.
not as good as I remember them, but like I said,
Always a
Terrence
critic.
Stamp. Yes, yep.
Oh, you had to put the minus in there. You had to take the energy out of the room by putting the minus in there. I knew you were going to do it. It's okay, because I know you're keeping it 100, but you had to throw the minus in there. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I get it.
Yes, because I am honest.
You're honest, but I can be honest. I told you looking in the eyes of the 8-year-old that watched it.
I still gave it an A.
You gave it an A minus, though. You gave it. Listen, you gave it.
With a C, you keep
But you
talking.
did give it. You did give it a. You did give it.
Go down to a C.
Well, yeah, but listen, you did give it a minus, though, and it's almost like you were doing it to just throw a little in there. But yeah, I get it. It's your way, and you know it's just how you do things, and you know.
As you always say, I am a star.
Yes, there you go. I know Danny's. Somewhere Danny is laughing somewhere. I know. I see you in there, Danny. I know that you're thinking to yourself, yes. I love the way you put the minus in there. Yes. But yeah. So, great show.
But Terrence Stamp, he's iconic as that role is odd. And Gene Hackman, he played the type of Luthor that I think they were trying to go with Jesse Eisenberg's, like the goofy, not serious, kind of quirky, serious, but also dangerous. I think that's what they were trying to do with Jesse Eisenberg, but they failed horribly.
Yes.
He played,
he was
he
terrible.
Yeah, he was horrible.
Yeah.
But Gene Hackman, he played, that version of Lex Luthor very well.
I thought so.
But yeah, definitely. Like I said, I still, love rewatching it.
Yeah, so do I, man. And, speaking of Lex Luthor, a lot of people don't realize in Superman the movie, he killed a lot of people. Remember that detective, that New York detective that was in the train, and he pushed him into the train? He threw him right in front of the train. So let's be honest here. He may be a little bit comedic, but he definitely could throw a few killings without even flinching.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He played a good mix of comedic and also dangerous.
Yes, without a doubt. All right, so once again, we've revisited what I consider one of the classics of my youth, and we've got more entertainment and entertaining things coming your way with the House of Fandom. So let's do a little house cleaning here, as we say. First, let me tell you that for those of you that have been writing in saying if the Townie Sports guys will be returning, they will be returning back. The Townie Sports guys return back on air August 2nd. So this Monday, your Townie Sports guys will be returning back to bring you all the sports world news, and obviously going into football season, they're going to have a lot to say. Second, the House of Fandom returns back with all 4 hosts. Myself, Tank, Danny, Spike return next Thursday, and we're going to bring you a ton of new fandom news as well as special, main event for each of the shows that we have for you. So I'm excited about that. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate it. It helps the algorithm, guys. I want to say thank you. Shout out to Spike, who has been really being like a campaign marketing guy to really get folks to come into the House of Fandom. For all the new subscribers that have come in, those of you that have came in because Spike recommended you, thank you so much for giving us a chance, and also for supporting the channel. And for those that have found our show just randomly, we appreciate you. And I hope that you, make the House of Fandom a house that you visit, because in the House of Fandom, as Tank knows, and Danny and Spike, everyone is welcome. And so I look forward to more exciting stuff. Tank, before we go, any cosmic thoughts before you give us the outro with your boy, Steel Frame? I remembered Steel Frame and his music. Yeah, I actually remembered this time. Any cosmic thoughts?
Oh, just, great show. Always love talking about Superman. But can't wait to get the whole crew together next week.
Absolutely, man. Definitely excited. And for those of you that want to listen to some cool beats, we're closing the show with Tank's boy, but I also know him too. I consider him a dear friend as well. Tank, you want to bring us to your boy Joel and his music? Where can they find his beats?
Yeah, they said my boy Joel Torres. Is check him out on SoundCloud under Steel Frame Music.
Awesome. All right, everybody. For those of you that joined us tonight, have a great night wherever you are. And this was another episode of the House of Fandom. I'm Clark on the check-in. Have a great night, everybody.